There's one thing in coding that's not being talked about often, and it is having a state machine in your project. In my game, I have a state machine that tracks the player where he is on the screen if he hit another character or he was hit by another character, if it hit the screen width right, or if it didn't hit anyone. And I have movement state also that would switch between the movement states he was in so we can update the animation. And in my character movement logic, I'm updating the state when it hit another character, it will switch that state to hit other character, to both the character that we are controlling and the other one who we are not controlling, as an example. And in the character base class, we set the movement state to, as an example, when you press the A button or the left arrow button to move the player left. Since we have a state manager, we can just check if the player is dead, then we don't actually move him, so we disable the movement. And then if button is pressed down, we set the movement to left, and then we can update the animation based on the state we are in. So it depends on the state, if he's moving left or right, and he's not dead, then we only play the animation walk as an example. And that's how I'm managing my character state, just to keep it simple, and I don't add like values like if the velocity x is less than 0 or velocity x. Like probably most game devs, they usually use the velocity, like velocity x, if it's bigger than 0, to check if the player is moving left or right, and then they play the walk animation. It can be fine if the game is really small, but if the game becomes larger, I think it's better to just have a state machine. And it would make it easier for you to track everything down in the future if you want to add like some whatever logic you're gonna add in the game. I think having a state for the player is far easier than just tracking velocity y is bigger than 0. Then we play the animation falling as an example. I added a state machine to the same game that I imported into GameMaker game engine, and I also started using a state machine, and I'm tracking if the player is jumping, and I'm doing the same thing where I'm checking if the player is walking. Then we do stuff like we change the animation to a walk, or if it's attacking, we're gonna make it into attack animation. We're gonna play the attack animation. I think it's really clean to have a state machine, and you should have a state machine instead of tracking the velocity or whatever kind of values you have in your code. And yeah, that was it for this video. Now tell me, do you have a state machine? And if not, why? Why are you not using it? If you found this video helpful, leave a like and a comment. And also don't forget to subscribe. And see you in the next one.